end, where he said, "Oh, it's circular, but it's not viciously circular; it's virtuously circular."
I can't tell what was the ultimate thesis in the end
Okay.
because it
Virtuous
was a little all over the
circularity
place.
is not a problem.
What?
Virtuous circularity is not a problem.
If you, how not?
Virtuous circularity is a cycle of arguments which conclude and begin with each other.
Although,
So it's no more a problem than the fact that a human baby comes from a human adult.
but how can you tell what's
If
virtuous and vicious? Because doesn't that invoke correspondence, and you can't tell what corresponds?
No, that has nothing to do
no,
with correspondence. A vicious argument is an argument that appeals to itself. So, you go like, okay, I
Okay,
think
what's a
empiricism is
virtuous
true.
one?
And why is empiricism true? Because I go out into the world, empiricism is my measure, and I say, well, empiricism is true because by my measure, I see empiricism, therefore it's true. That's a
But I can
viciously
just
circular.
split that up.
That's a
What's the
viciously
virtuous
circular
one?
argument. That's what a
But I can
viciously
just split
circular.
this.
Hold on. Let me finish. That's what a viciously circular argument is. A virtuously
Okay.
circular argument is a structure of here's argument A. A concludes with argument B. B concludes with argument C, and C concludes with argument A.
But isn't that the other one too? Doesn't it have that structure?
Yeah,
No,
and you can just
that is not an appeal of a
Mhm.
thing back to itself immediately. The problem of vicious circularity is that you just state it.
Yeah, you can just do this with empiricism too.
No,
You can cite, of course.
in the case of that, what are you doing? Is empiricism the basis of why empiricism is true in that case? No. Empiricism is true in that case because of B and C, not because of empiricism.
And B
And then
C
B
are
and
true
C
because of
are
A.
true because of A and C, and then C is true because of A and B. But
So as long
A,
as I
when
can
you ask
find
for,
a
so when you
way,
ask for a justification of A of empiricism,
Mhm.
you do not yet again appeal to empiricism. You have a
And do
full
you
set of
think?
arguments that justify
so
each other. This is no
but
more of
so as long as
this is no more of a problem than like what I said. It's no issue that human babies come from human adults. Human babies grow up into human adults. They have an adolescent stage and all these other things. That there's the male and the female differentiation. They come together and make another baby. So humans come from humans. Oh no, circular reasoning.
Do you think you
well,
can show?
But
no,
can you tell me what the problem is with the human example? Do you think that's some kind of insane thing to say that humans come from humans?
well, no, that's what we observe.
No, but if you break it down to the individual points, it's not inherently circular, as each individual is separate
Right.
from.
Yeah, it's not coming back to itself. It's not like I'd be
It
saying
does.
like
It
each
does come
human
back to
created
itself.
himself.
I'm sorry. Like, no,
Oh, it'd
it's
be
not
like
that
I created myself.
No, that's not what it's saying. It's saying that human beings come from human beings. Obviously, the category of human being comes from the category of human being. The human
Yeah.
species doesn't come from a fucking donkey.
Yeah, this is like a category in the element, though.
Okay,
Can I just ask-
so then like you see the issue then, right? The issues that you're bringing up are not relevant to the
I have a
issues
real
that I'm
quick-
saying.
I have a really quick question for AW. Do
Mhm.
you think you can see the difference between viciously circularity and virtuous circularity in predicate logic?
You can see it in any kind of logic. The whole thing,
If
though,
you
like
hash-
again, the problem of vicious circularity is a self-immediate reference. The issue of virtuous circularity is a mediation of different arguments pointing to each other, ending in a cycle beginning with the first one. So if the issue of humans come from humans is not a problem because we can explain the steps of how humans, as a total species, reproduce within the species as a whole, having different moments in which obviously the baby is not the adult is not the baby, the teenager is not the child, and all these other things. If that's not a problem, and that's perfectly intelligible and acceptable.
Yeah, so one, you can just transpose arguments, right? Like you can take the three arguments that support each other, make it in one, and if you make it in one, then it's viciously circular. But if you split them apart, they're virtuously circular. That's problematic. But
That's
I'm
not
simply
problematic.
asking,
Okay, wait, hold on. How's that
Of course
problematic?
it's
That's just saying, look, if I pretend to be retarded and I reframe your argument in a retarded form, then it appears retarded. Yeah, because you're retarded.
But that's it. For I would say that's a problem because if I can find some
That's not
vacuous
that is not a problem.
thing and it's self-referenced, then it's no longer
That is not a
virtuous.
problem. Yeah,
that's
that is
literally
not a problem.
But I mean,
No, that is not a problem. You being retarded is not a problem of an argument.
I mean,
So,
look,
so,
if you
so
wanna
somebody
just say
somebody
that,
says,
that's
look,
fine.
there's
I
argument
don't think
A.
it's doing you
A
any
leads to
favors.
B. Now hold on. If somebody says there's argument A, from argument A I prove it ends with argument B. From argument B I prove it ends with argument C. From argument C I prove it returns back to A. And then you say, well, what if I just pretend that I'm retarded and I just like collapse all that into one single argument and make it look circular viciously? Well, that's because you're retarded. How's that the
Well, no,
problem
what
with the
if,
argument?
I'm saying, what if I can just find some fairly vacuous thing that technically, is within, it does follow, but it's just this sort of vacuous thing that, is just this gap filler between the thing referencing itself. Now it's virtuous, right?
Well, no. If you're saying, well, if it's vacuous, then what the hell do I care?
How do you? Let me ask you. How do you show the soundness of argument A in your example?
The same way you show the soundness of anything.
By showing the premise.
The premises are true, that the logic is valid, and the conclusion is true. I mean, do you think it's a problem to show that babies grow up into children? Children grow up into teenagers. Teenagers grow up into adults, and adults, have a function that's they engage in sexual reproduction, and they perform sex, and they have babies, and they.
Isn't that kind of different though too? Because that's like an observation. Does that qualify as reasoning?
That is reasoning.
Yeah.
What?
Observation.
Yeah.
An observation's reasoning?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, try to observe without reasoning. See how far you get.
Yeah, but that's
I don't- yeah,
interpretation. That's not reasoning.
Try to get an observation without reasoning. See how far you get.
Yes, but you're taking
I don't-
implicit knowledge as reasoning, but that's not
Try
reasoning.
to observe without reasoning. See how far you get.
Can you stop
That's not about-
saying the
Well,
same
well,
shit over and
yeah.
over?
Can you keep repeating the same
No,
retarded point over and over?
I
I will
haven't
answer
been
the exact
repeating
same
the
thing.
same
Oh, boy.
thing over and over again. I've just been saying hey, you kind of need to
You repeating interpretation does not remove the fact that interpretation involves reasoning. Do you know what interpretation is?
Your question
Do you know what interpretation is?
way.
Do you know what interpretation
I feel
is?
like
Do
you're
you
just
know what
kinda
interpretation
mad
is? Do
that
you
I'm
know what
not,
interpretation is?
agreeing with the game that you're playing right
I'm going to
now.
mute you on my side because I don't talk to stupid retards.
Oh, boy.
I was talking to
That's
somebody
fine.
else who's more interested in it.
I'm fine with muting AW from my side because it seems like there's nothing philosophically relevant to get out of that.
No, I was talking to you. I was having a good discussion with you, and then he butts in with
I
something
think
stupid.
like his point seems weird to me because one, you can construct arguments however you like, right? And you can put them together and split them apart, right?
No, you
and
can't.
then you can show
No,
that
you
they
can't.
are circular, right? That's why I asked if you can tell the difference in predicate logic, because you can't, right? You can't show the difference between viciously and virtuous circularity in predicate logic.
So are you going to let me answer, or did you mute me?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree. I probably agree.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm doing here, to be honest. I haven't read a fucking thing about philosophy ever. It's been fun, though.
All right, well, we were having a decent conversation, and you let another retard ruin it. Wow.
Define predicate logic for me.
Who are you talking to?
Oh fuck! Why are we all just talking in text chat for no reason?
Because the Indian guy bitched out.
I don't know. Oh yeah, actually that reminds me. I need to get back to my drugs.
Okay, AW. Let's hear this. Where did I chicken out? What is your amazing proof for circular arguments? I have my blog right here. I'm ready to write down.
What are you talking about?
You just said I chickened out. What did I chicken out of?
Yeah, well,
I'm
hey,
ready to
you
write it
you
down.
muted me like 3 minutes ago. You bitched out because of the other guy. We
Oh,
were
so
in the
now
middle.
you're
We were in
freaking
the middle. We were in the middle of something. I don't even fucking remember. How am I supposed to remember?
Fucking,
You were
like,
insulting people and all of that stuff. I
virtuous.
think like okay, how are you supposed to remember the same way as I am supposed to remember? You said that if argument A is supported by B and C, and B's argument is supported by A and C's argument supported by B and A, then it's not circular. And I'm asking you, well, one, you can just right like if
Hold on.
Yeah.
Who,
Yeah.
that's circular. I mean, why are you making up shit?
No, that's not. Yeah, that's not viciously circular. That's virtuously.
Well, yeah,
circular.
exactly. So then don't say, oh, it's not circular.
Yeah, nobody gives a
Then,
crap about
okay,
this made-up thing.
then it's not a made up thing. Look it up. Now, if you're ignorant, that's not my problem.
Is there a symmetry breaker for viciously circular arguments?
A symmetry breaker?
Yeah.
No.
Is there a symmetry breaker for virtuously circular arguments?
You already asked that. Do you mean viciously circular?
No, I asked, is there a symmetry breaker for viciously circular arguments? That's the first question I asked. Is there a symmetry breaker for viciously circular arguments?
I wouldn't think so, because there's no symmetry. It's a self-reference.
You don't know what a symmetry breaker is? Okay.
No. Why would there be a symmetry there? It's a self-reference. The problem has nothing to do with symmetry. The problem is that it's immediate self-reference.
Okay.
It's an appeal to the very thing that you're supposed to prove.
I'm not talking about any symmetry. I'm asking about the symmetry breaker. But
All right.
okay.
Well, if you're asking about a symmetry breaker, you are assuming there's some kind of problem with symmetry. But there's no problem with symmetry here. The problem is that it's an immediate self-reference.
Let me ask you this: what is a symmetry breaker in philosophy?
Now, let me ask you, what is the realms of symmetry? Since there is no symmetry problem here. The
Yeah, it's not
problem is
talking
a
about symmetry.
self-reference.
The point
So
is-
the problem is self-reference. Can you tell me what the problem of what is the problem of vicious circularity?
Self-reference.
Right. So what is the problem of symmetry involved in there?
It has no symmetry breaker. Ergo, it's self-referential.
So then you're just fucking playing word games. Oh wow.
No, that's not playing word games. That's how you test whether something is viciously circular. If you have an
No,
argument,
the way you
right, and
test
the
something's
argument-
viciously circular if it's self-referential. You don't test for symmetry breakers. I don't know. Maybe you know some math. I don't. I'm a fucking like ignorant on that shit. So I don't use that math speak. But I use regular speak on this shit. Everyone I've encountered, everything I've ever read talks about self-reference. So I talk about self-reference. I'm sorry that I don't know your special lexicon.
I would say generally speaking, we're talking about like vicious circles or virtuous circles or whatever. The only distinction really is that one leads to beneficial outcomes, the other one leads to negative outcomes. That's the only big difference.
Sorry, my internet cut out.
You're good. But ultimately,
it holds.
the structure is the same. If you're critiquing the structure of both, then your critiques are going to be pretty much the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. The only difference between vicious and virtuous is the outcome. That's it. Like logic, at its basic forms, is going to be circular. We consider that to be a, quote, virtuous circle because we see some benefit from using logic.
No. The thing about virtuous circularity is that it's intelligible. Vicious circularity, it's not intelligible.
What?
Well, if you're talking about the structure, they're both unintelligible.
No, they're both intelligible. Like, one's unintelligible because it's immediate. It's a self-reference. You're supposed to be proving, say, empiricism, but then you use the very thing you're supposed to prove, which is supposed to be giving the intelligibility of that, but you're using the intelligibility of that to prove itself. Well, that's just stupid.
You don't think
The thing about virtuous circularity is that there is a sequence of intelligibility, giving you the structure of exactly what is being asked.
You don't think there's any vicious circles that are more than just like one deviation apart?
I mean, probably you can construct one if you want.
Okay, well then that almost mirrors exactly what you're talking about, right?
Well, in what sense? Like, I mean, you could construct empty shit.
But the point you're saying is like a virtuous circle is essentially you go from A to B, B to C, C to A. There's more steps involved. That's
Right.
what you were using as a distinction. But you can't
Right.
you make a vicious circle that's A to B, B to C, C to A.
No, you can't have a vicious circle of that kind. Because like the thing about a vicious circle, what makes it vicious is the self-reference, because it's unintelligible. Now, if you can mediate through some other thing, in which the ground of the thing that you're talking about is some other thing, in which the ground of that thing is some other thing, and that ground of that thing is the first thing that you started with, those are not going the same way. One of those does not immediately collapse into the other. Whereas in the viciously circular form, it does immediately collapse into the other.
So yeah, I think we're just talking past each other. I think we have two different understandings of what vicious and virtuous is, which is fine. But it
Sure.
doesn't need to be for it to be vicious, in my assessment. The whole, like, as far as I'm aware, like, it's the basic research that I've done is just essentially it's all about outcome, right? If it's a negative outcome, it's vicious. If it's a positive outcome, it's virtuous.
No,
right?
not for me. For me, it's intelligibility.
Yeah, in philosophy, that's not the distinction. Like, it's not vicious and stuff because the outcome is bad or whatever. Like, this distinction is only made in the philosophy of religion because there are people want to prove they're God, and so they say, oh, this circularity is fine.
No, it's not just this circularity is fine. There is no problem with it. The problem with it that you're pointing out is I don't like it.
No,
the problem with vicious circularity is simply that it's unintelligible. If it was intelligible, nobody would have a problem with it. Virtuous circularity is fine because guess what? It is intelligible.
What do you mean?
This is not all. This is not all. Intelligible
No
means that you can give a structure of rationality to it. You don't just have to state it. You just have to say, well, it's just a brute fact. You know, it has to be that way.
Can you?
Okay, so God is true because of the Bible. The Bible is true because of God. What about this was not intelligible to you?
You haven't said anything.
Okay, this is like childish.
Okay, well, you're being childish. Now, I don't know. Okay, hold on. Let me clarify something. I don't know what you were arguing with other people with. I'm not those other people. I haven't told you that I believe in the Bible. I haven't told you that I'm a Bible thumper or like base myself on the Bible. So,
I don't care about the Bible.
So like again, with a thing in which you're going to give some kind of argument, you need to actually give an argument. If you give just a stupid argument like that, well, that's trash. Sure, like you can give it a valid form. Okay, so you can give it a valid form. And if you just mean like, okay, like if I say that you know, the Bible says this, and the Bible's somehow supposed to be true, and there's this other thing, and there's other thing, and then that other thing says this, A, B, C, A. Okay, fine. That has the structure of a virtuous circular argument. Is it a good virtuously circular argument? No.
Why the
Is anything there intelligible there?
Why the hyper-focus on literature?
I don't know. I don't care.
I don't care. So, do you like? Okay.
So if we go back to the example that I gave you of the human being, what do you have a problem with that?
I don't know. I talk about arguments. I don't know what
it is an actual argument. Is it not the case? Is it not the case that a baby is that which grows up into a child? A child is that which grows into a teenager. A teenager is that which grows to adults. Adults are sexed. Obviously, there's an implication already, and if we know what human beings are, and they have sexual copulation and they produce new babies, and ergo, humans come from humans because babies are human, adults are human, children are human, and teenagers are human.
Because you have
the whole system is humans.
The category referencing the category.
And what's the problem with that?
Well, it's not consistent. You would want it to be elements inside the category, right?
Well, what is the problem with that?
But the problem is that the argument is circular, and that is, it doesn't have a symmetry breaker. So I could say,
What
well,
does that, what does that mean?
the point of the question is the claim true? Right? Like, is the nobody cares about the
Is
validity
it
of
not true?
arguments,
Is it not
right?
true that humans come from humans? Do they come from fucking rocks? Do they come from monkeys,
It
donkeys?
is true, but I can construct a
Oh,
similar.
no. Oh, so it
First
is
of all-
true. You
first of
can't
all,
show
wait,
anything wrong with the
W.
argument
Hang on.
beyond that you don't
First
like
of all,
it.
it's not
You're-
it's not
you're not-
precisely true, because there are humans that didn't come from humans, but
Which humans are those?
One.
evolution. But fine.
You're gonna fucking point to some vague notion of evolution.
Wait, fuck. No. Let me be.
No,
Let me.
that's
let me-
biologically true. But
you can have a chain of events, right, where one thing leads to another thing, one thing leads to another thing, and it's all basically like leading to similar events. Doesn't make it circular. If you're gonna say something circular, a proper thing would be your parents gave birth to you, and then you gave birth to your parents.
Yeah.
That would be
Well, yes, what example did I give? I gave the example of humanity categorically.
yeah, but that's
Like
not,
the category of a child, the category of teenagers, category of adults, category of sex, category of copulation,
Yeah.
unity, and child. So yes, it's not the case of obviously the individuals giving birth to themselves, but humanity as a category universally is, guess what, reproducing itself individually.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Not
the
a
so okay, let me
So
ask you,
from the
what is
universal category, we get the exact same thing.
what is
What's the
what is
problem with that?
What is the so because it's just circular. Like the
Oh,
fact
oh,
that
oh, so the
circular
problem,
argument
you
is
saying it
reality-
again, you saying it again does not show me. You haven't told me exactly what the problem is.
Yes.
Beyond that, you don't like
So
it.
because the point is that you have an argument. If the argument is circular, you have validity, right? But you can never show soundness. Do you understand this?
No, what's not sound about that? You admit it
Logic is
yourself.
sound.
You admit it yourself that the argument I
Sound
gave you is sound.
Yeah, for what? No, I don't admit
Yeah,
that the
yes, you
argument is
did. I'm
sound.
sorry. Again, do humans categorically come from donkeys, rocks, stars, nothing? No, they come from humans, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right? Okay, so then what's wrong?
That I can construct, like that I can construct the argument in any other way.
No,
Right,
you
like,
can't. No, you can't.
Okay. So
That's
the
like saying
problem- yeah.
that because you can construct a clearly false, valid deductive argument, say a modus tollens or whatever. Therefore there's a problem with modus tollens. Literally nobody would use that argument on that.
No.
Yes, you're literally just telling me that.
point is
Oh well,
if
I can
you use-
construct a stupid argument with the same form that you gave. No shit, you can construct any valid argument with stupid
The issue
propositions.
is that you know the soundness of the argument you gave, not because of the argument, right? You use some empirical fact, right, and then say, I take this empirical fact as the conclusion of my argument, and then I make an argument that is valid, and that shows the conclusion, and therefore you have a sound argument.
Okay. Again,
problem is-
so let me reground this because now I'm confused. What is your contention? I thought the contention originally was that you thought there was a problem of validity about circularity. Now you're making it a problem of soundness
Circular-
about formal logic.
Circular arguments are always valid. Do you have any clue about this? Circular arguments are always valid. It's like so absurd. A circular argument is always valid. A valid argument is one where the conclusion follows from the premises. If the conclusion is in the premises, then obviously it's valid.
So what was your contention then?
That
Because
If
my
you
contention, if you remember, my contention was about intelligibility. The reason you don't accept viciously circular arguments is because they're unintelligible. They're self-referential. They don't prove what they're setting out to prove. They use themselves,
Correct.
which is exactly a problem. A virtually circular argument doesn't do that. So what's the problem?
but it does. Done.
No, it doesn't. You haven't proven anything.
done.
You haven't. You've
It's
you've said no, and you haven't told me exactly what the problem is.
Problem is self-referentialism, Or
There
how
is
would you
no
say it?
self-reference. A references B. B references C. C references A.
Yes,
What is the
the
problem?
chain references itself.
And guess what? Guess what, you motherfucker?
Wait.
Guess what, motherfucker?
Oh,
Guess what,
yeah.
motherfucker? Human
Yeah.
beings reference human beings because they don't come from donkeys. They don't come from grass. They don't come from rocks.
No, human beings don't reference human beings.
Yes, they do. Okay. Go fuck a rock and
It
make a
just
baby. Go,
it
hey,
just-
go, hey,
it
go,
just makes-
hey,
it
hey,
just
hey,
makes
hey, hey,
logical
hey,
categories and all of
go
this stuff.
stick a Shiva lingam up your ass, make a baby. Let's see how that works.
Hmm.
Let's see how your logic works, buddy.
Oh, I bet you know that
gonna-
this doesn't produce children. But I mean, fine.
I'm gonna try this again. So the premise: humans are born from humans. While it seems circular, it is in fact not circular because the category humans implies a category of individual entities that are different from others. Now, if you wanted to do an A to B, B to C, C to A, or whatever, you'd say grandparents gave birth to my parents gave birth to me, I gave birth to my grandparents. That would be like a proper analogy. That would be equivalent where it's like, yeah, there's a problem with that because obviously that doesn't appear to be sound, right? We'd all agree that that's probably not the case. You don't give birth to your grandparents.
Yeah, on the individual level, no, you don't do that. But
Right,
on the
so there's-
categorical level, humanity gives birth to itself.
Yeah, but categorically, that's not circular.
That is
that's what I
circular
was-
because like the structure is babies, children, teenagers. Yeah, again, we've already assumed the sexual differences in there. Copulation, babies again. From babies come children, children comes teenagers, teenagers comes adults, from adults come babies. So from
all-
babies in a circular system, you can indeed say from babies came babies because guess what? It's part of the human categorical system. But it's not an A equals A mere self-reference. It's a mediated reference through a process of clearly developmental categories. And that's how reality is.
Maybe if we use we could use that, but even if you used any other type of like circular process, you could use like the water cycle, the rock cycle, or anything like
Yes,
that. Right?
and all cycles work this
Yep.
way.
Yep,
All cycles
but
are virtually circular. And that's what they truly are. What's the problem?
hang on. The problem being is like the difference between, well, again, I kind of was even looking up even more data. It's like literally philosophically the only difference between vicious and virtuous circularity is literally just about the outcomes and whether or not they're positive or negative. But
No, that's not true. It's about intelligibility. That's the problem.
I can cite the sources if you like.
Well,
But,
it doesn't matter because the sources I have are about intelligibility. They're not about outcomes.
And cite your sources if you would like. I would love to read them, but as far as I'm aware, like that's the premise. So, because if you're talking about your sources are going to say like structurally these things are different, they're not. They're not different. Structurally, it's the same. It doesn't matter how many steps you have. The structure.
No, it's not structurally the same.
What's the difference in structure?
One of them is immediate. It's an immediate self-reference. The other one is an mediated explanatory reference which returns to itself. These are not the same thing. Look, if you say babies come from babies and you just say it, you haven't said anything. And clearly you're wrong, not only categorically, because if you understand what the category of a baby is, you know babies don't come from babies.
So
You know that babies immediately do not produce babies. You know, however, that babies grow up to be children, children grow up to be teenagers, teenagers grow up to be adults, adults, obviously they're part of the human species, there's sex, there's male and there's female, they come together, they produce babies again.
Okay.
You cannot tell me that this is
Hang
the
on.
exact same structure.
When with my example, with my grandparents gave birth to my parents gave birth to me, I gave birth
Again,
to
that's
my-
not a valid example
Is
of
that
this.
vicious or a virtuous circle?
Not in this case, because in that case, you're applying it to the wrong thing.
What
This does not apply to
limiting what
this
is a-
sense. Well, categorically, that's what I thought. So with the example of humans, humanity categorically does reproduce itself as a virtuous self-regenerating cycle. One part leads to another, and leads all the way back to the beginning. That's just how it is.
It leads to true outcomes. Correct.
No,
But
that's
if I
not
say-
about true outcomes. That's just what it is. It is
all right.
intelligible. So do you think I'm making up? So is it is it the problem that you think that I'm just making up that children turn into teenagers, teenagers turn to adults, adults come together in sex and produce babies? and then babies turn to children. Am I making that up, or is that not just the fact of what it means and what is to be understood by what a child, teenager, adult, and a baby are?
Individual does, yes, I agree. What I'm saying is, you're saying vicious circles are immediate, and I constructed a circle that was not immediate, and then you proceeded to say, well, that doesn't count. Why doesn't
Well, yes,
it count?
because in your example, obviously your grandparents didn't come from you. You're using an empirical individual example in which I can clearly contradict that. Now, if you're going to say, well, in my definition of grandparents is just this categorical thing in which, like, literally I've reproduced my ancestor. In a very vague, highly abstract, metaphysical way in which we could get away from the immediacies of what you're talking about, fine, yes, that would be intelligible. But in the ways in which you're referring to it as in concrete individuals, no, it is not intelligible. And my issue is about intelligibility. It's not about just formality.
Well, what if I vagued it up enough? What if I said, like, the first generation of humans gave birth to the second generation of humans, the second generation of humans gave birth to the third generation of humans, and then the third generation of humans gave birth to the first generation of humans? Is that vague enough to where it's talking about general concepts?
No, because this is a temporal order that does not repeat in that way, unless you're talking about some
Wait,
hypothetical universe that in which time repeats.
Yes, because it doesn't work. It's not functional because the observations are that doesn't happen because it leads to
okay.
Proven to be
all right.
not
In the categories that you're placing it, I will agree with you.
Cool.
But my point is more general about intelligibility itself. So I don't have to just, to me, it's not just like, oh, true outcomes about empirical things, which can be the case. It can also be true outcomes about purely conceptual a priori things. For example, a virtuously circular argument can be made for the Pythagorean theorem. In which if you have the two lines and one angle, if it's going to be a right triangle, like the other side can only be a certain kind of ratio. Like it can only be, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You can only have those certain relations no matter how you divide this triangle, no matter which sides you begin, no matter what length or size you have, these will necessarily follow, logically speaking, if you understand what the Pythagorean triangle is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just go, in a circle with those, and they will reproduce each other. All the determinations of the triangle, all the angles, all the sizes, the ratios.
I agree that like a lot of these foundational principles are circular. Like logic itself as a foundation is going to be circular, right? But the whole reason to why we don't like circular arguments is unless you're talking about something foundational like an axiom, then you're in an area that probably we would say you shouldn't be making a circular argument for this, because at the end of the day, we should try to minimize circular arguments as much as physically possible.
Well, sure, I would agree with that insofar as, well, if the thing you're talking about is not actually intelligible as circular, then yeah, don't make a circular argument because it's not going to work.
Yeah, but almost nothing is going to be intelligible. And by the way, I still think how we're using intelligible. Like, what makes a circular argument intelligible other than the fact that you're saying it has like multiple steps? Because it has multiple
Because intelligibility means that you can give structure to it, a structure that is meaningful, that I comprehend.
Is a vicious circle not structured?
No.
What makes it not structured?
It's immediate. Look, if I say empiricism is true, why? Well, because empiricism is true. You haven't actually given me a reason. I've asked for a reason, but you have given me no reason.
Well, it's be self-evident in that case, right?
No, the self-evidence is not reason.
Yeah, but
right.
even for a virtuous circle, it's going to be self-evident at the end, right?
Self-evident, but in a way in which I can tell you what is evident. I can tell you what each reason actually is. So I have given you a reason. In the viciously circular form, I haven't given you a reason. I've just restated the very thing that I was supposed to be giving a reason for. And to say it is self-evident is not telling me why. And what I asked originally in that kind of discourse is why.
But self-evident, that whole point is he wouldn't supply a proof.
Well, yeah, I get that that's what it is for people who don't think and don't understand foundational problems.
Oh, so
But
you're
when
the
it comes,
pretentious douchebag who doesn't understand anything.
comes,
I got it. Oh, so it's fine,
sure,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, you don't know philosophy. You can just be offended by this. Stay out of the discussion if you don't want to hear it.
Did you get it all out of your system?
Keep being offended, dude. Whatever. I don't
I'm
need
not
your
offended.
opinions
I'm
in
just
this.
not going to waste my time with you.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you.
Oh, okay, well, that's good.
But okay, I suppose at least you and I have come to an agreement. Phalanx.
I mean, partially, I would probably say that. Like, I'm still kind of like on the board where it's like, as far as I'm aware, the reading I've done is it's just literally about like positive and negative outcomes. But we can feel free to agree to disagree on that point for now. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, it's just a different focus. I come from a very different background with a focus on intelligibility and certain problems of skepticism regarding that in general. It's not pragmatic and it's not interested in empirical stuff, really.
Three C1, C3.
Yeah. Basically, just I put it in the side chat so that I can understand it better. Because to me, it seems this ABC, right? You can take any given argument and split it up and say,
No,
argument
you
A
can't.
is for premise.
No,
Argument
you
A is
can't.
for premise
Okay,
one.
okay. Were you listening to the things that we were talking about? Okay,
Wait,
can you
not interrupt me?
respond?
I'm
No.
not responding to you. I'm not talking to you.
All right. Okay. Fine. I'll step.
I'm
out
making
of
my
this
case, and after after I'm done, you can, right? I'm just saying this because, okay, let's say you can't split any given argument, but you can compose any given argument. You can conjunct every given argument, right? And if you conjunct this and put it just together, you say, no, it doesn't prove anything, jack shit. You split it apart, you say, haha, proven, right? And the issue is when you make this as an argument, right? The justification for premise one is argument B, right? And the justification for argument B, because you have to justify premise 3, for example. The justification for premise C is argument A. You're saying argument B is true because argument A is true, and argument A is true is because argument B is true. And it doesn't matter how big you make the circle. Right?
That's not what happens.
I think that the separation, hash it out in propositional logic. If you can't, like, I don't care.
No, I literally already told you. Okay, you have
logic.
a certain position. It could be position or argument, doesn't matter. If you have A, the justification is going to be B.
Yeah.
If you have B, the justification is going to be B. From B, the justification is not going to be A. You will not refer to the thing already, being proved. It's B that proves A, not A that proves B.
It's A that proves what? What does A prove?
A proves C. So you have A. A is the justification for A. Hold on. You have A. A is justified by B. B is justified by C. C is justified by A.
Yeah. Draw that
in
out.
the link of justification, the immediate intelligible justification is going to be B for A, C for B, A for C. Now, if you want to pretend to be stupid and you go like, oh, therefore, I can just state B from A, well, if you have already proven that, then I know exactly what you're talking about. If you haven't already proven that, obviously you're being retarded.
Must argument C be correct for argument A to be correct?
Yes. The whole thing is all of them have to be correct for each other to be correct.
Okay, so, and it's valid, right?
Yes, it's valid and it's intelligible.
And it only it only is self-referential, right? It like the arguments don't appeal to any argument outside of them. Only A, B, and C.
Yes.
Yeah. Why would I care about this then?
I don't know, man.
Is there anything you could ever show with such an argument?
I literally just have given you the example of a human being. You accepted it earlier. Somebody else gave the example of
No.
cycles of ecology, the weather cycles, carbon cycle,
Again,
water cycle.
Wait. I'm not empirical. I don't know about those cycles and all of that stuff. I want to be like, you're a philosophical guy. I'm a philosophical guy. Can you show me any argument, premise 1, premise 2, yada yada yada, where there's something that I get from such a structure? That's a good argument.
Sure.
A good argument that has that structure.
Yeah, well, I mean, a good argument depends on various things, and you might not understand it, but I'll give you one.
Yeah, premise 1. So argument A.
Premise 1
argument
being.
A.
Being.
What?
Being.
What?
Being.
What are you saying? Being.
Being.
That's not a premise.
It is in my logic.
Okay.
Okay, speculative logic, reflex logic. That's if you want to take it as premises, that's the premise. Premise 1, being. Premise 2, nothing. Premise 3, becoming. Well, premise 3 is conclusion, becoming.
Wait. So you don't think that premises need to be propositional?
No, premises are conceptual.
What is the rule of inference for that argument?
Cognition.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Being
Fine.
in this case is
being
in this case. Hold on.
Hold
on. Let me. Do you want me to explain it to you?
No, because that's just bullshit.
No. Oh, right. So you're too much of a coward to listen to the actual explanation. It only takes about a
if
couple
your
seconds.
inference rule is
it only takes a couple of seconds to
philosophy.
explain it. It only takes a couple seconds to explain it. It's very simple.
How is
Children can do this.
How is cognition a valid
it's the same. It's the same way you're understanding my words right now.
No,
you understand the meaning of my words. So you have a semantic understanding. You have a semantic understanding to know the way that words are linking right now. You have a conceptual reason as to why you understand that A links to B, which is not a rule of inference. It is a rule of semantic connection. You don't care?
We are asking about an argument. That's an inference.
This is an argument. Again, I don't use your logic, so I'm not going to subject myself to your stupid logic.
I don't think you use any logic.
Well, you don't want the explanation because you don't want the explanation because you're too much of a coward.
There's a lot of different.
You are wrong. You're wrong. Argument. Cognition.
Okay.
That's
all right, man.
All right, man. Are you afraid of it?
All right, man. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. You don't have to. I guess we're just done then. You're too much of a coward to hear out the argument.
Let's do this. Argument A. Premise 1 is being. Premise 2 is nothing. What was it? And the conclusion was
becoming.
Conclusion is becoming.
All right. Do you want me to explain it?
Rule,
do you want me to explain it?
Wait, this is not enough.
Do you want me to explain it?
To explain what?
Okay. Do you want me to explain it? Yes or no?
What? Explain what?
Explain the whole thing. Do you want me to explain it? Yes or no?
You mean in propositions?
Let me explain it. Yes.
In propositions? Okay.
I will explain it. I will make it intelligible to you.
Okay.
Okay. By being, I mean an absolutely immediate being.
So your definition of being is a being?
Absolute immediacy. Unrelatedness. Immediacy. No mediation. No in-betweens. No references. No outside, no inside, no content, no form.
Okay. What? No outside, no content, no form. Okay?
Right.
What is nothing?
Think. All right. So think being. What can you think?
I don't know.
You do know.
I don't know.
Well,
This is your
think,
argument. I
think.
don't know
Well,
anything.
think.
Yeah.
Well, think. What is the meaning of that? What is the
I don't
meaning
know.
of the definition that I
argument.
gave you? Well, think about it. If you don't think about it, I can't do this for you.
Why not simply give me the argument? I mean, you can speak
Because
perfect English right now. You can
I
understand.
am speaking perfect
very
English.
intelligible what you're
I'm
right
speaking
now, but
perfect
when you're giving
English.
An argument,
I am
but
speaking
when you're
perfectly
giving an
clear
argument, you're
English.
saying being,
I am
nothing,
speaking perfect
becoming.
English. I gave you an explanation of what being is. I have given you a structure to cognize with. What does it mean? What
Can you
can you
give me
cognize
examples
with
of
it?
being?
There
Can you
are
give
no
me
examples
examples
in
of
being
being?
because that would mediate it. Do you understand what immediacy is?
Mhm.
Did
You're
I not
making
tell
like
you?
a
Did I
Heidegger
tell
argument
you?
here.
Did I tell you no relations, no
Don't get
internals,
too high
no
on Heidegger, my
external?
friend.
No, this is not a Heideggerian thing. I'm just saying. Do you understand the word
That's
immediacy?
literally the Heidegger thing. That's
No,
fine.
no. Do you understand? So,
Yes.
so if you know it, then you know the answer. What is the answer?
What?
What is being in this case? What does it
You
mean?
said it's not a Heidegger thing. I said it's literally.
All
and then
right,
you
all
said,
right. So,
"Oh,
so
yes,
if you,
it is."
no, I'm saying, so if you know the Heidegger thing, then you know the answer. Now, what is the answer?
Did you know the Heidegger thing?
I actually do. This is
Yeah,
not
then
Heidegger.
you know he doesn't. What?
What, you haven't read on what is metaphysics?
I read what is on what I have. What is on metaphysics? I don't know what
What
you're
is
talking about.
metaphysics? His big ass
Yeah,
essay on that.
I haven't read that from Heidegger.
Oh well, then. So if you don't actually know what it is, then okay. But just think
Oh,
about it. Okay.
I only read
So
Being
hold
and
on,
Time.
hold on.
But fine. This is a project that he does in Being and Time, right? Where he says, how do we know what being is? Right?
No,
And
that's not what I'm
everything-
asking. That's not what I'm asking. Okay, I gave you a structure.
No, like
I gave you a
is
structure.
literally
Can you
what-
respond to just what I'm saying? So fine. Okay. I
Okay.
thought maybe
you-
you knew the thing on like what is metaphysics. Apparently you don't. Forget about it. Because it has nothing to do with it, anyways. Although Heidegger gives the right
yeah,
answer.
but Being and Time has to do with that. That was Being and Time. He says
no, it doesn't.
whenever you get. Yes, he says that being is the absolute immediate thing, right? Whatever you can say about being, you will always be false because it's always will be a mediation. That's what he says.
Okay, well, that's not what he says in What is Metaphysics, but I don't get it from him anyways. The structure I've given you
I
is
don't
something
care.
absolutely immediate. So if you try
Yeah.
to think about this, what can you think?
I don't know. It's your argument.
Can you think?
I can think, yeah.
Oh, so what do you think?
I'm thinking this is a stupid argument, but so what?
Well, I mean about this, given the strictures that it's like a math problem, dude. It's very simple.
Am I the only one who struggles with that? I mean, okay.
I've had high schoolers answer this pretty quickly.
I wonder who allows you to run high schoolers, but fine.
So far removed.
Oof. Oh.
But,
I mean,
but-
look,
so-
okay,
so-
I'm giving you a
so what?
structure.
You say
It's very simple.
being is absolute immediacy, no outside, no content, no form. And then you ask me, what do you think about? I don't
What do
know.
you think about
I don't know what you mean.
it? What can you think about it?
A lot of things.
No.
you-
Okay, given this structure, not given your personal external reflections, given that structure, just like a math problem, if you have 1 to 1, you can't say, well, I can
Just
think
tell
red.
me. Just tell me. Stop
Well-
this pretend profound. I'm so motherfucking smart. Just tell me.
I'm not being motherfucking smart. This is so simple. I'm trying to get you to do it.
I agree. That's why I said pretend.
I'm not pretending to be
Just simply
motherfucking smart. This is like
tell
pretty
me.
retarded.
What do you want to express with this?
Okay, can you think?
I can think. Yeah.
No. Okay, given the structure I give you, can you think?
I don't know.
What do you mean
Tell
you don't
me.
know?
Tell me.
Come on.
All right, you have something that has no structure, no relationships. What do you mean you don't know whether you can or can't think? The answer is no, you stupid motherfucker. You can't think.
The answer is no. Okay, great. You could have just said, well, think of being. then take all this stuff away. What do you think about?
No, you're
Nothing.
not thinking being.
Fine.
It's
Great.
not think of being and take all this stuff away. Being is non-relational. It's immediate. If you try to think it, guess what? You can't. Do you know what that
Okay.
is? That absence of
Okay.
thinking, that total absence of determination. We call that
Am I
nothing.
being? Am I being right now?
We call
It's
that
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
So you go
I'm
being,
not a being.
nothing.
So being is nothing.
Right. Now are you thinking nothing? Did you think nothing?
I think you did.
No. Just move on.
If-
The first premise is nothing. Just carry on. Fuck.
Right.
No,
So you think
the
that? So
first
you
premise
so
is being.
assuming that you actually did, you would think nothing, but then you think nothing, so nothing is. So
Okay.
so you're back to being,
Yeah.
being nothing,
Yeah.
nothing being. Do you know what does that? What goes from being to nothing, nothing to being? Becoming.
Damn, that's deep, bro. Okay.
So you got
Am I the only one? like-
speed.
Becoming is a virtuously circular system of intelligible concepts which are inherently related, inherently mutually intelligible. What is the problem with it?
So, did you come up with that yourself?
No, that's Hegel.
That is Hegel.
Yeah.
Where does he formulate his argument like that?
Page 1, Science of Logic, Chapter 1.
Wait, I get my Science of Logic. Page 1, Science and Logic, chapter 1.
Science of
I get
Logic,
my-
Chapter 1. Logic of Being, Chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first page of that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 1,
Yeah,
page
chapter
1.
1, Being, page 1.
Chapter
Starts,
1.
being, pure being.
Ähm, Allgemeiner Begriff der Logik. Kapitel 1, das Sein. But it doesn't start with that, right?
Well, it says rein, sein ist rein. Oh,
Sein, reines Sein? Nein, es startet in neuer Zeit. Erst ist das Bewusstsein entstanden, dass es eine Schwierigkeit sei, einen Anfang in der Philosophie zu finden.
then you don't have the right page. It's chapter 1,
Chapter 1.
being, science of
Ja,
logic.
Chapter 1.
Now, do you have the encyclopedia logic or do you have the science of logic?
The Science of Logic. Wissenschaft der Logik. Erstes Buch. Die Lehre vom Sein. Ja?
Yeah, it should be.
The Science of Be. All of those coherent sentences. Damn, so many coherent sentences. Well, it's Hegel. Doesn't, not always coherent. Then he says there's So, he's talking about first capital, Sein, reines Sein, ohne alle weitere Bestimmung. In seiner unbestimmten Unmittelbarkeit ist es nur sich selbst gleich. Und auch nicht ungleich gegen anderes, hat keine Verschiedenheit innerhalb seiner noch nach außen.
Nigga.
This being is real, being is pure being.
I mean, just read both paragraphs, sein, nicht, and then werden.
Yeah.
It's just that
Und
first
dann?
page.
Yeah. All of those are coherent thoughts, right? All of those are sentences.
No.
Right?
If you say so.
Do you think not?
Well, if you say so.
Okay, I'm done. This is pretentious.
What is
Like,
pretentious? I mean, if you say
no.
so, what am I supposed to say about that?
I mean, it seems like you want to do this oh, I'm so deep and profound. Obviously, there
no.
are sentences in the book, right? It's a book filled with sentences, right?
I mean, look, if you
Have you
understand
read
what
the
I'm, if you understood it, then great. then you know what I'm
There's-
talking about.
Okay.
So can you show me a problem?
There's no point in debating.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
show
you're
you a
right.
problem. The argument that you present has no inference rule. It is not propositional.
The argument.
Done.
Can you show the problem
done.
with Hegel's argument?
I don't know what Hegel's argument is.
Oh, but you just read it, and you said it was perfectly intelligible.
Yeah, and I would highly doubt that you can present Hegel's argument, but I mean,
Oh,
that
you would
to
highly
me-
doubt. So you
Yeah,
don't know what Hegel's
because-
argument
because-
is, and you highly doubt that I can. But you know,
Do
it
think
takes
there's an
it takes
argument- do
you know you
do
it say
think
it takes
there's an
one to
argument
know
where
one.
he
It
defines
takes one
his
to know
terms?
one. He
It's
defines the
not an
terms
argument.
already. Those are arguments.
That's where he defines those, right?
No, those are arguments. Did you not read it?
Those are not arguments. I mean, if
Look,
if
look,
you
the first
consider
paragraph
thing
on
you gave
Zion.
me an
The
argument,
first
then everything is
first
an argument.
thing. Well, yes, anything intelligible is an argument.
you
By the
can-
way,
you
he
can-
says that.
Yeah, you can hold your breath. That's fine.
No, well, yeah. I mean, like, not only is it just a valid argument, it's a sound argument.
Mm-hmm. And you-
So you know when you
you-
were
you
bringing up
come to a
earlier,
stance
when you
because
were
of
bringing up earlier, the whole thing like, oh, I can put anything into this structure. No, you can't. You can only put things in this way into that structure. And then when you do that, you can't be wrong. It's not only I have a valid argument, I have a sound argument.
And you know that because of
Can you
cognition.
show a problem with being nothing becoming?
Yeah, it's not propositional, not an argument. Done.
Did you not read it? Can you tell me exactly what its argument actually is?
Doesn't matter. Your argument, not propositional, no argument. Done.
Yeah, I gave the exact argument. You said that what you read right now is intelligible. Can you tell me what was intelligible about it and how it's not an argument?
It's not an argument. He just describes what he understands. Unter
And
dem Sein.
and he has given you the exact same thing. When he defined
He's not
being, he
trying to
tells
make an
you.
argument.
Okay, in the first
He's not making
paragraph.
an argument.
In the first paragraph, there is an argument
Yeah.
there. Did you not see it?
Nein.
No.
Nein, da ist kein Argument drin. Sein,
Yeah.
reines Sein, ohne alle weitere Bestimmung. In seiner unbestimmten Unmöglichkeit ist es nur sich selbst gleich und auch nicht ungleich gegen anderes, hat keine Verschiedenheit innerhalb seiner noch nach außen, durch irgendeine Bestimmung oder Inhalt wurde der in ihm unterschieden oder wodurch es als unterschieden von einem anderen gesetzt würde es nicht in seiner Reinheit festgehalten. Es ist das reine Unbestimmtheit und Lehre, es ist nichts in ihn anzuschauen, wenn von Anschauen hier gesprochen werden kann, oder es ist nur dies reine Lehre Anschauen selbst. Es ist ebenso wenig etwas in ihm zu denken, oder es ist ebenso nur dies leere Denken. Das Sein, das Unbestimmte, Unmittelbare ist in der Tat nichts und nicht mehr noch weniger als nichts. That's simply, I define it to be that way.
No, that's
But I
not what it
mean,
says. That's not what it
Fine.
says.
No, I know. No, it's false because of cognition.
No, that's not what it
I know
says.
I know it's not an argument because of cognition.
Well, no, because you haven't thought about it.
Yeah, and you have
Okay,
thought about it.
okay, man. Look, you're pathetic. I get it. You can't read. You can't think. It's all right. You speak German. You can read German, apparently. Congratulations. You can't understand your own language, apparently. Sucks to be you.
I bet.
Now, I'm
definitely
still waiting
the guy who
for the
has
pro. I'm still waiting for
most
understanding
very
what the
good.
problem is with anything that I said.
Not propositional, not an argument. If you don't understand it, I can't tell.
Yeah, that's just because you're too stupid to think concepts is not my problem.
Well, you're just
That would be like
understand it,
me.
you're wrong.
That would be like me, you know, taking the word of a sixth grader who doesn't understand calculus, and because they don't understand it, they're like, "Look, calculus is doing things like summing infinites and going to limits, and you can't do that. You know, you can't actually do that with arithmetic." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, you're a sixth grader. I get it. You're dumb. That's too bad. Calculus is still true, buddy."
Yeah, anything else you want to say? You're very, very smart. I'm much stupider than you.
Yes, you are.
Anything else?
You should look up my channel and see who you're talking to.
Oh yeah, what is your channel? Oh yeah,
It's
What's
on my
your channel?
profile. It's on my profile.
It's not on your profile.
It is on my profile. Check it.
There is no channel on your profile.
Yep, there is.
If you, I don't know if it's for PC, but on phone you can see it at the bottom, one of those links where they have like, yeah.
Oh goddamn, that's so interesting. what work of Hegel did you like the most? Just so I know.
Science of logic.
Science of logic. Okay. Nothing about phenomenology of the spirit.
I like phenomenology. It's just not good for an introduction.
Damn, you produce a lot about Hegel. Interesting. Has anybody ever said to you that you're very concise in your speech?
Yes. There is if you're interested in philosophy, if you don't like my style, you might like Daniel Pascal Zorn's style. He's a German philosopher.
I'm a pragmatist.
He's very interested in reflex logic. That's his specialty.
I'm a pragmatist.
Well, I mean,
I don't care.
Pragmatism can be a reflex logic, and it's very good for understanding texts, not just Hegel, but understanding any text, really. It's a methodology of, actual understanding, not just critique.
And what did you say the type of logic is? Reflex logic?
Reflex logic. The guy's name is Daniel Pascal Zorn.
Okay. I don't care about that. Just like you said. Like, because it seems you reference a concept in philosophy I'm not aware of, but nobody talks about reflex logic. I mean,
well, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, look, if you're not interested, that's fine. You don't have to be interested. Mm-hmm. I tell most people, like, they probably shouldn't be interested in this stuff. It's a waste of their time. Especially if they're not really into philosophy.
What do you think about Fichte?
I like him. There's a Fichte guy on my server. Very interesting.
What did you like about him? Like about Fichte?
Fichte has very great insights, and here's a Twitter thread on operational or reflex logic if you're ever interested.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, a pragmatist. What kind of pragmatist? A Peirce pragmatist? James pragmatist? Dewey pragmatist?
My own? I mean.
Oh. So internet retard pragmatist. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not actually part of any actual pragmatist like understanding. You just like the functionality.
I'm a pragmatist. I have a pragmatic theory of truth. My educational philosophy is very close to Dewey's. My political philosophy is very close to Dewey's. I think my view on metaphysics is more closer to Peirce, I would say. My empirical or epistemological views are closer to James and Peirce than they are to Dewey, I think. Right? Stuff like that. It's a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, sounds like just being uncommitted and not understanding.
Okay, fine.
Anyways, yeah, I guess we're done here. You have a good life, I suppose. If we ever meet again, we might have another shit show.
Okay.
See you, man.